You want to know my powers? Know who I am? See what I can do. I'll show you.
Hello, old friend.
I tried your way, Charles. I tried to be like them. But it always ends the same way. Think of the person you love most in your life. Your wife, mother, daughter. They took everything away from me. Oh, my baby. Now, we'll take everything from them. You want society to accept you, but you can't even accept yourself. Perfection. Jean killed her.
Henryk, proszę cię, nie rób tego!
My name isn't Henrik. My name is Magneto.
There's so much more to you than you know. Not just pain and anger. It's good too, I felt it.
I buried it with my family.
Killing Shaw will not bring you peace.
Peace was never an option. You built these weapons to destroy us because we are different.
Огонь!
Humanity has always feared that which is different. Well, I'm here to tell you, to tell the world, we are the future. No more hiding. No more suffering. You have lived in the shadows and shame for too long. Come out. Join me. Fight together in a brotherhood of our kind. Everything they've built will fall!
I know you think you've lost everything, but you haven't. You have more family than you know.
All those years wasted fighting each other, Charles. To have a precious few of them back.
Goodbye, old friend. Good luck, Professor.
Doesn't it ever wake you in the middle of the night?
The feeling that one day they'll come for you and your children.
It does indeed.
What do you do when you wake up to that?
I feel a great swell of pity for the poor soul that comes to my school looking for trouble.
All superhero stories are a meditation of identity because the mask and the costume is often a representation of a solution that the character has developed in response to a traumatic event. It personifies a transition.
Everything you did made me stronger.
But villains tend to refuse to change. Instead of becoming travelers, they become obstacles for the journeys of others. Therefore, for Magneto, the helmet and the costume functions as an inverse.
My name isn't Henrik. My name is Magneto.
It's a fixed aspect of his identity that prohibits him from changing because instead of offering a solution to his trauma, it just keeps referring him back to it. Now, Magneto's journey is incredibly weird to examine because first, it doesn't have a conclusive ending, and second, it's non-chronological. Therefore, the direction of the character arc is not only constantly being redirected, but his themes are constantly being overwritten. So this essay will have to prioritize spotlighting thematic patterns more than utilizing a comprehensive reading because Well, it's just the most effective way to stabilize it.
Charles always wanted to build bridges.
And let me think of an iconic Magneto line to end this introduction with. Welcome to In the original X-Men trilogy, Magneto is an embodiment of an entire position. When we're first introduced to him, he's a victim of the Holocaust, and when he departs with Charles, they are both figures who overlook the coming conflict, not as subjects, but as influences.
I've heard these arguments before. It was a long time ago. Mankind has evolved since then.
Yes, into us.
As a result, Magneto isn't a character, but a force of nature. His first plan was to win a war before it begins by turning everyone into a mutant, even if it risks wiping them all out. And in X2, Magneto is developed further as being a representative of the exact fears that people have of mutants.
Don't lecture me about war. This already is a war.
To the extent that within the climax, he almost wipes out the entire human race. Both Stryker and Magneto deploy the same strategy to win this conflict. Therefore, they're both operating under the same set of values, despite holding two different positions. Instead, Xavier's the only character that thinks outside of their limits. So, Magneto doesn't just represent a pro-mutant sentiment, but he represents a cycle of fear and hatred.
The war is still coming, Charles, and I intend to fight it.
Subsequently, in X-Men The Last Stand, despite how peaceful the world has become, Magneto's ideology is directly threatened by the existence of a cure. For Eric, the cure represents an imbalance of power as opposed to an opportunity for peace.
They will force their cure upon us.
As a result, Eric becomes the one who starts the war. His value degrades as the story develops.
That's why the pawns go first.
It's no longer about his desire to protect his people or expanding the margins of a shared identity, which is what he wanted originally, but it's about winning against the enemy. And poetically, in the end, he is punished with the life of the enemy. Or at least for a while. Magneto's first set of appearances shows that Eric has the capacity to change. He could have been a good man, but he condemned his own life because of his own hubris.
What have I done?
So, on a conceptual level, Magneto is a study of collective trauma, which is when painful memories are transmitted between generations because of a shared identity.
Nobody's talking about extermination.
No one ever talks about it. They just do it.
Every one of us inherits stories from the communities we're born into, be it professional, ethnic, or class, and we incorporate these histories into our personal narratives. Therefore, as an authoritative symbol, Eric's trauma as a Holocaust survivor becomes a logic that frames the lives of his followers. Everyone is equally afraid of a mutant Holocaust. And this separation between people and the politics of people is what makes Magneto the villain. Eric began unwilling to die for his beliefs because he wanted to ensure that his logic of power can survive in the new world. When the war was imminent, he had no hesitation in becoming a mass murderer. And when Charles dies, he carries on with his work, ensuring that there will definitely be a battle. Thematically, Magneto is a living prophecy. His fear of what is possible is what makes it possible, because that fear is what traps everyone else. This is the first act of a story. So, how do you take the prophecy out of the man? The X-Men prequels gave Eric an opportunity by letting go of his symbolic presence. Both X-Men First Class and Days of Future Past fits together to show the character's rise and fall, framed under a battle against time itself.
Killing Shaw will not bring you peace. Peace was never an option.
First by going back and realizing his backstory further by showing exactly how the Holocaust ruptured his mind. The theme of Magneto being a living prophecy is eerily foreshadowed here as a race between Eric reinventing his identity with Charles and reinventing it with Shaw.
and me, son. This world could be ours.
Both men offers him different opportunities to make peace with his trauma by giving him access to a different continuity when understanding the past. Eric can either accept a message of love where perseverance and empathy should define his life, or a message of strength where power is what defines him and is what his role should be in the world.
I didn't know I still had that.
Secondly, the prequels draw a clear distinction between Eric and Magneto, because Eric's transformation comes from an act of failure. The very meaning of Magneto from the helmet to his mission is now retroactively contextualized as Shaw's legacy.
If you're in there, I'd like you to know that I agree with every word you said.
Shaw himself killed Eric's mother and was involved in the Holocaust. Therefore, Magneto is not Eric, but is the rhetoric that consumed Eric. The son who lost his mother was replaced by someone who sympathizes with the murderer, and this distinction becomes the main focal point in Days of Future Past. In the past, there is only Magneto, someone who has disposed all of his humanity in the name of his ideological mission.
What are you doing? Securing our future.
He was willing to kill Mystique, Logan, and even the President to deliver his message. And in the future, there is only Eric, the helmetless friend who values life.
This might just work, Charles.
And stands side by side with people he disagrees with because he's free from his politics. He's just a good man. Consequently, this entire second act of Magneto's journey is not about what Eric represents on a collective level, but is about what his trauma means on an individual level.
We want the same thing.
My friend. I'm sorry, but we do not.
The horror of what happened to him as a child orientated his life backwards in such a way that the only imagination he has of the future is another disaster like the Holocaust. But his refusal in developing his vision is what brings about the end of the world. His attempt to kill Mystique is what gives Trask the DNA needed, and his assault on the White House and call for mutant revolution is what ensures mutant animosity. Who he is, who he was, and who he can be are directly spotlighted here, and as a result, due to time travel, he's been forced to reach his limits earlier in his life.
Is this what I am?
So what happens when you take away the prophecy from Eric? X-Men Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix are specifically stories about Eric and not Magneto, because after the events at the White House, he's accidentally created a new socio-political landscape that has made what he symbolized irrelevant.
She's my hero. I want to be like her.
Mystique is now an international icon, and peaceful coexistence has been directly achieved as a result. Therefore, Eric has now been forced to hide and reinvent his identity as a father and as a simple factory worker, friends with ordinary humans. He is as far as you can get from his original destiny, which on one hand, this is a payoff to future Eric's last words, because now he has a whole decade of peace to himself.
All those years wasted fighting each other, Charles. To have a precious few of them back.
And on the other hand, this concludes the theme of trauma because he's been able to appropriate the pain of his past and produce a new life out of it. There's a particular moment he shares with his daughter where he mentions what happened to his parents.
What's happened to them? Your parents?
They were taken from me when I was a little boy. But they're still here. Inside and here.
By being able to talk about the past and attribute positive meaning to it, Eric no longer identifies himself as a son without a mother or under the logic of the perpetrator, but as a parent himself, a father looking after his daughter. But then he loses them in a rather contrived situation, and Apocalypse reopens this wound, going as far as bringing him to Auschwitz to literally create a hole again. Thematically speaking, Apocalypse represents all that he was previously from the original trilogy, someone who's more of a concept than a person and symbolizes the logic of power and conflict, and very much pivots around the same theme of collective identity.
We will lead those that survive.
into a better one.
This, in turn, further diverges Eric and Magneto further. He doesn't want to wear the helmet and fight under this set of ideals. He only does it because he doesn't have anything else.
Whatever it is you think you saw in me, Charles, I buried it. With my family.
As a result, X-Men Apocalypse offers a climax for Eric's character because it's the final breath Magneto takes before evaporating, and it begins with Eric finally taking the opportunity he refused in First Class by reinventing his identity with Charles.
You have more family than you know. You never had the chance to save your family before. But you do now.
The closing scene goes as far as echoing his conversation with Charles from X-Men 1, but as friends contemplating the future, as opposed to bitter rivals challenging each other's vision of the future. Consequently, the original X-Men trilogy now retroactively serves as preliminary mapping for his character. Who he is now exists in constant perpetual contrast with who he could be, which is oddly fitting for a character who's always haunted by his past, and this precariousness is directly played with in Dark Phoenix.
Save the old friendship, Charles. Stay out of my way.
Which is a deeply troubled film. I even made fun of it when I was experimenting with essay formats, but Eric's side of the story plays with the contrast the heaviest. He's written with completely diametrically opposing motives to his original counterpart. In X3, he discards Mystique when she turned human, but now he goes on a rampage to avenge her.
I know we've had our differences in the past, but we both love Raven.
Instead of trying to selfishly exploit Jean for his own politics, he wants to kill her in memory of a friend. And instead of illegally occupying a forest with his army, he legally holds a place with a peaceful mutant community.
This land was given to us by the US government.
The same pieces of the story are present here, but are organized completely differently. This is very much firmly a new man.
You wanted her dead.
I had a change of heart.
The first X-Men ended with Charles visiting Eric to play chess as respectful rivals, but the final image of this entire saga is Eric visiting Charles to play chess in order to comfort and mentor him.
Long time ago, you saved my life. Then you offered me home. I'd like to do the same for you.
Despite the uncertainty of the future, be it with mutants and humans or Earth and aliens, what happens is this friendship will endure in the face of all of it. Eric became Magneto when he left Charles, and now, as Eric, he returns to him. His story doesn't end with him playing chess by himself, but now ends with him sharing a moment with a friend.
I go easy on you.
No, you won't.
This is not exactly the intended ending, clearly, because it's designed very overtly to be followed by something, but there's a certain poetry to it. And for this reason, Eric's whole journey is shaped like a funnel. It begins with his identity being defined by its membership to a collective trauma, then it develops into a man overcoming his individual trauma, and finally he's free living his life through his community, which brings him peace to a lifetime of bad memories.
How did you stop?
I've lived with vengeance my whole life, ever since I was a child. I hurt people. Yes. Killed people. Killed whatever I thought would make pain go away. It didn't. No matter how many souls I sent under. So I stopped.
As the personal scope of Eric's life gets smaller, he becomes more and more liberated. Therefore, all the retcons and thematic overrides presents a thread. Eric's journey fits together as an exploration of the limits of mnemonic authorship. All the drama pivots around a question about how the past influences the construction of identity in the present. And the destination that is realized is that there is no destination, there is no answer, because a personal past is only what it's interpreted into being. Therefore, the solace that the story finds comes in the form of being able to look at the past through the lens of the present regardless. We're all managers of our own personal temporal horizons, and Eric shows us that the decision of where to go doesn't start with what happened long ago, but starts right now.
Goodbye, Ultron.
love your body.